what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on in your life, everything is gonna be okay.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Faye, and we are back with another video. What are we doing?
Today we're reacting to Quiet on Set, the dark side of kids TV. We've been hearing about this, didn't watch anything, don't really know what happens in it, but I kind of know what it's about. And it's interesting because this is our childhood, like for real. Nickelodeon is my childhood.
The people we saw, you know, and admired as we grew up and watched, and
this is our childhood, so definitely can't wait to check this one out. Let's get into episode 1. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Road to
10K.
Alright, let's get into it.
And jingle is burned into our brain.
That's me.
In the early 90s, Nickelodeon was kid everything. It was the starting point of everything cool.
Did you go to Nickelodeon in Universal Studios?
Shoot your shorts.
Yes.
Are you afraid of the dark?
I feel like I got slaughtered.
God, it sounds so old saying, you know, before when I was coming up, there were no.
I loved her.
Yeah.
But there wasn't.
She's from all that, right?
Netflix and we
Yeah.
didn't have Nickelodeon, and there was Disney, and that was it. And
Yeah, that's it.
There wasn't Cartoon Network at that time?
No, not really. I wasn't watching Cartoon Network. Were you?
Yeah, because Cartoon Network had all the old shit.
Yes, it don't count.
Dan Schneider was Nickelodeon's golden boy. He launched the careers of child actors who became major stars.
For 20 years, he shaped children's entertainment and shaped children's culture.
When Dan accepted his
If you were a child of the 90s, this is going to ruin that for you.
I was.
What do we really know about Dan? Seemed like he was untouchable, but around 20,
I remember
the
him.
internet videos around Dan really started gaining momentum.
All these setups that reference porn,
What?
like squirting goo on Dan Schneider.
Absolutely disgusting.
He's a grown-ass man. What the are you doing?
Damn. Damn,
There's
damn.
one video of our
People started saying this feels inappropriate for children.
Does feel
looking at Dan Schneider's
It's
stars.
crazy, like we
Some of
probably
them
watched
became
that as
extremely
kids
famous.
and
Some of
didn't
them
even
really
really
struggled publicly.
realize.
After her arrest last week.
Now some of them are starting to speak out.
Yeah,
That's
I
how you know, like,
remember
the
him like
innocence.
that. That's how.
incredibly emotionally abused.
I wonder how like off this went.
Nickelodeon was
I'm
a little
scared.
wild.
I didn't expect that.
It was a little always funny, but
Yes.
from a kid's view.
At a Nickelodeon shows, parents are like not
No, I don't know
really around.
Watch that.
You didn't watch
The kid is the star.
That's good.
I was slimed more times than I care to tell you about.
Double Dare.
It's
Oh
cold,
man.
it's wet, it's gooey, it's sticky.
I went there when I went to Universal Studios.
Steven Spielberg.
Jeffrey, how did
that's
that
like
feel?
a-
Like my son threw.
Wow, these are old
Pushing
people who are
the boundaries of
believers.
children's entertainment.
Yeah.
Vividly. I remember this person.
And
like,
this is when
I didn't
Dan
know this
Schneider
was Dan
rise.
Schneider.
He's young,
Of
he's ambitious,
Nickelodeon,
and
the
he
person
has
it's
a
all
lot to
about.
prove.
It's him. It's Dan.
Crazy.
Dan, a father who went to Harvard, and his parents did not have the highest expectations for him. He wasn't exactly someone who they thought was going to be massively successful.
Really? Wow. Coming out of Harvard, you would
Dan
think you're
is
kids. I
able
would
to
think you
find
said
himself in
you're
drama.
kids.
Early articles about Dan say,
He seemed always driven by this fact of, I'm going to show people that that's not who I am. I'm not the fat kid.
That's what they used to do a lot back then too.
Yeah,
Fat shaming
yeah.
was huge back then.
Normal.
Yeah.
Not okay.
On this idea for a sketch show, all that, would you like to write the pilot? And the next thing you know, he's producing
all
the
it
show,
takes.
he's writing
Opportunity.
episodes.
At the beginning of his career, Dan Schneider and his early producing
He
partner,
did it.
Brian Robbins, got noticed by the press.
I hate that I'm smiling like at the thought of what Nickelodeon is now that I like see the role that we're about to head down.
Horrible. But it doesn't take away from these kids' greatness.
Edgy
So.
concept.
These kids are still great.
Like, that
at
reminds
it.
me of the
Force at
time.
Nickelodeon. He helped launch the career of some of comedy's biggest names like Cal Mitchell
Yes.
and Kenan Thompson.
All that quickly became a pretty big hit.
You see Dan presenting himself as a self-deprecating and really funny boss.
Dan
Right.
just created a really fun
Yeah.
set.
That's how I would. That's what I would have thought.
Me too.
Why do you have to be nasty too? Why?
A lot of these kids in the entertainment industry are vulnerable. The power balance between a child and an adult is so
Your
Like,
kid,
so bad,
yeah.
And then on
They
top
feel
of
like they're
that,
like
that
in-
it's an employment situation.
It's like you have to live up to this person's expectations. They're an adult.
Responsible for the entire economic success of their family.
Adults are always right.
What are they going to do if they get in trouble? What if all of this goes away because they complained?
I don't think I would ever complain in that situation. I don't think I would ever complain about anything.
If you knew
The
shit
most
was on the line.
uncomfortable were
Even as adults,
the
like the things
leotards.
that we endure just
I mean, I was just a growing boy trying to fit into my body, and it was just out there for everyone to kind of look at, and he made it known who was on his good side.
Oh, rewarded
got
those.
favorites.
Amanda Bynes.
Oh,
She
yeah.
got a lot.
Amanda was
One
her
day,
though.
the producers called my
Amanda
house.
was her.
Katrina's getting too fat. We already have a fat one. She can't be the fat one.
Oh shoot.
They go, because now I look like a woman and I'm not little girlish anymore. So then that became an issue. And then after
Oh yeah, I do remember her. She looked different when she was a kid. I probably didn't watch that early. I was young though.
10-year-old Amanda.
MVP right there.
One day, I said, you gotta check out this girl. She's really amazing. And the girl was Amanda
Okay,
Bynes.
so she gave her the couch.
This guy sitting up there in heaven, looking down at me and saying, I think I'll give her a challenge.
Yeah, I remember Amanda from when she was this age.
I remember thinking,
Dan saw her and like immediately knew she'd be a star.
A Nickelodeon, but what takes him to the next
He was
level
just
is when he
first.
discovers
Because anybody who would have saw, really?
he recognizes her talent and he wants her on all that immediately.
He was impeccable.
Did she have like a
very
hey
physical.
Ashley? I'm Ashley.
Yeah, yo, every sketch she was in was hilarious.
Oh, well, how?
Everyone. Had Kel just
And so there would be times where Amanda would just be missing.
What?
And a lot of times we would be seeing them grow closer to each other on set.
Wow.
be uncomfortable.
The law
Yeah.
was that a parent or guardian had to be with us at all times.
They tried to stay out the way.
I can imagine.
With us all being novices, with some of us, this was our first job. It was
you're around
just
a bunch
in
of
our best
kids,
interest
too.
to kind of go with the flow.
Treated her like a wind-up doll. Like, she had really a lot of
That explains
pressure
why
and high
Amanda is where
expectations
she is
from
now.
him.
Yeah, because you don't hear from Amanda now.
The new favorite had arrived. I was out.
That's what I mean. It's got to be tough
So
on
I felt,
kids.
now I
Like,
don't need to do this anymore. I can just go to college. So I did.
it has to be tough on kids.
And then, oh, have you seen the Amanda Bynes show? And I was like, what? That makes sense.
I was about to say that's hate. I'm glad she cleaned you
physical
up.
comedy really shines in that first episode. And this is actually the first time that Dan Schneider's name is listed
I used to watch
as the
this.
creator.
I watched this.
This gave him a whole new level of control and power.
A lot of adult female comedians do not get their own shows without jumping through a million
Yeah.
hoops.
That's true.
There's usually two roles that girls occupy.
I'm trying to think that
Hollywood, and one
even any
is
more
super
shows that
innocent,
came
really
off of,
sweet, like
like,
Shirley Temple,
all that.
cute,
Keenan and
young,
Kel is all I
and then
can
the
really
other
think
side
of.
is
This was funny.
really personality
It's
driven,
the
really
accent.
funny.
It was funny. Her voice, like everything about her was hilarious.
Which is
Every role she was
This,
playing.
that,
this kind of strong.
That
female
role, I
leadership
forgot who
rating.
that
playing
was.
A lot
every
of women
role
behind the
and
scenes.
killing it.
Working for Dan
Aw.
was like being in an abusive relationship. And she said that I was going to have to split a salary with a writer that I did not know.
So they were getting 2 for the price of 1. They were going to hire 2 women and have them share a salary.
Splitting a salary? I've never heard of that before.
Do whatever you have to do to get this
Everybody.
job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could charge it when you go and get it.
That maybe this guy didn't really value women in the writer's room. And later, he
Or women, period, in general.
are the girls in the room? Where are the girls? And we both were like, no. And he said, oh, good, because I can't stand girls that are uptight about things like that. Next time this guy asks me if I mind something, there's a right and wrong answer. And thank God I answered right.
Yeah. She did answer right, I guess.
Very
But you learn quickly, like, just
Yeah.
you're groomed
Joke around
quickly
and
to fall in
being
line.
dirty was part of the
Especially during this time.
Hello, citizens.
She was funny.
So up with the name.
Yeah, oh my
The
god.
body that's between the penis and the anus is that skin there, that's the taint.
Oh.
And Dan had said to us in the writer's room, don't tell what this word really means. He wanted us to keep that a secret.
I remember
Like, strange things amuse Dan.
He has
and
a
that was just
sick
one of the things he thought
mind.
was funny.
Oh, that's just, he's a
one
weirdo.
time Dan said, I'll give you $300 to eat 2 pints of ice cream in 30 minutes. And I did. And I was throwing up afterwards, but it was fine. The money didn't come. And then I asked somebody kill that fly for $30. And I go, should I add it to your tab? And he said, how dare you accuse me of not making good on my bet? I was just kind of
No, you didn't pay me,
No,
bro.
he wasn't. He was thinking about that $300 for a long time.
But I felt that Dan could be very vulnerable.
She had that $300 spent.
Like, if you said you was gonna pay me $300 and you didn't, so confused as to why you're accusing me of lying on you. Prove me wrong. Just pay me.
Culture where it was a mini.
This is probably around the height of my Nickelodeon watching. I wonder if Nick at Night was big at this time. That was the height for me. When Nick at Night was big, Brady Bunch,
Oh, the Nickelodeon Choice
Cosby
Kids
Show.
Report.
The kids' version of the Oscars.
They don't do that no more. Right?
I feel like they do something like this.
Gets the kids'
I
choice
feel like
awards.
Cosby. I don't know. They have to let us know.
But it was told to me, Dan's really upset. Like, why'd you get her that cake? Like, that's a big cake. Like, she didn't need that big of a cake. And I was just like,
Money must have been
She's
tight.
a kid. No, it's not money. It's he didn't want her to
I'm
feel like,
joking. I'm
oh.
just saying, like, he's ODing.
Nah, I'm pretty sure Dan was getting to a bag over there.
I remember Dan and Amanda Bynes being very close on the Amanda Show. And I think very few people made Dan laugh.
Yeah, she just has a funny way of doing
Amanda
things.
being very close physically with Dan.
Wearing a swimsuit in a hot tub, and next to her is Dan Schneider.
That is creepy.
Fully clothed.
That's creepy.
And he's
Yeah, holding a drink.
maybe at the time
like,
people viewed it as comedy, but I think now some people are very.
I really remember him and thinking he was funny, and I didn't know that he was doing all of this, or like the showrunner and like the
Yeah, I
like
know
the
any
the
of
rhyme
that.
and the reason for real.
He'd asked me several times to massage him in the writer's room and in the studio. And he would say things. He would be laughing while he said it. But you always felt like
Dan gotta
disagreeing
find somewhere to
with
get
Dan
his
or saying-
kinks off.
Or standing up for
That's
yourself
nasty.
could result in you getting fired. And Dan was just said, you know what would be funny? If you leaned over the table and acted like you were being sodomized and told that story about high school.
What? Damn.
She couldn't get out of it. You know, he's begging her.
Oh
So she just leaned over the table and did what I asked her to do.
I just think of that poor girl and what she had to, go
That's
through.
you.
Yeah.
That's still you.
I would not do that
Detaching from
today.
Yeah.
It's easier to
But I did it then.
Are they still splitting a salary?
About.
I've never heard of anything like
All of a
that.
sudden, I had heard about mid-season that having the writers split their salary was against the rules. So I called the Writers Guild to ask them if that was true. Or can there be teams on this show? And they said no.
Pull a fast one.
One of y'all about to go like
Dan called me at home.
Oh God.
And he asked me if I was conspiring against the company. Because if I find out that you did, you're never going to work for Nickelodeon again, or for any Viacom project. I was terrified because I never angry too. He had gotten caught doing something ethically wrong.
He tried to
Said,
blame you.
if I find out you told on me, I'm going to do something even worse to you.
Real manipulative dickhead shit.
He could literally be nice and then mean and then nice and then mean, like throughout the day.
Right, and then you think you fucking crazy
because
you all flip-floppy with him. Child. Toxic.
Meeting
I just realized
at my
this
manager's
whole
office.
thing has been about the Amanda show.
By the time I got in my car to go back to the office,
That was the
I had been
nasty
fired.
Dan for real.
Dan basically owned all of your time.
Damn, that's, you at least gotta sue for the rest of your half of your salary.
We're bringing you back for season 2, staff writer. We're offering you a 16-week contract, but you need to work the whole season, which was, I believe, 27 weeks. He was telling me I had to work 11 weeks for free, and I was devastated.
Try to keep your salary cut in half.
Written well.
Yes, you. How would I don't
Lasted
believe
4 days.
that you have no
Season 2.
control over salary when you're the one who splits salary.
But Dan gave us this
I don't
assignment,
believe
asked all the male writers into his office, and left me out. I pitched my idea, and he said,
No.
"Didn't you used to do phone sex?" Just like that, out of nowhere. I was like, "No, Dan." He was like, "Didn't you tell us? Didn't you say that last?" And so then I hired a lawyer and started blowing whistles.
Mm-hmm.
And they settled, but it had a lasting impact on my career. This was the end of my career, so it better be worth it. That it didn't stop was all for nothing.
It just got worse.
The Amanda Show was Dan Schneider's first show, and he had a complaint against him of the issues that we see
I
throughout
thought this
Dan
was
Schneider's
like,
empire.
oh my
We're
God,
there
I
from the
didn't know
beginning.
this was gonna
How
keep
safe
going
can any
like
kids
this.
be in
I did not know it was gonna get this deep. I'm not gonna lie.
This is just
And is
episode
Dan
one.
the main target of this?
Was
Was Dan King
even bigger
inappropriate? Oh my
problems down the
God!
line with actual pedophiles on set.
Van Nuys division officers have arrested the suspected child predator charged with kissing and touching a 9-year-old
this is
girl. But
disgusting.
officers believe there may be more victims.
Someone get arrested. To our own high standards. That's the problem. You're living up to your own standards, not anything that morals or ethics would change. That's disgusting.
I'm definitely not really looking forward, but looking forward to just being a little more aware of what's going on. Like, we're really getting the inside scoop. This is only the first episode. Like, what more are y'all about to tell me or show me about this man?
What were we watching as children? What type of people created our childhood? What did they put in our minds that we didn't realize? That's
I heard
crazy.
it's like this with Disney too, like the over-sexualized shit that you don't even notice. It's so crazy. Disney about to have a documentary too, and they said that it was really only Nickelodeon and Disney. So
yeah. I don't think Cartoon Network is mostly cartoons. I don't think it had
exactly
shows with actual kids in it.
Right, I think that's the difference. Wow, oh my goodness, that was a lot. I wasn't expecting that, y'all. I heard a few things. I didn't see anybody saying anything because I stayed away from that until I watched it a little bit. But I can definitely see where this is going, just based off where it started.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
It's about to be eating in the teeth for like my stomach is unsettled after the first one already. Like if that's what he was doing to the adults, imagine what they about to tell us he done did to
Yeah, because it's really the adults was the first one.
She had found what she wanted to do in life.
And as a mom, you support her.
Amanda's show, and they were looking for kids to be in a schoolroom scene.
I used to love the things
On a
lobsters.
show that she came out of that just on cloud 9.
I can only imagine.
That's how you feel as
Not
a
allowed
parent.
back on the set. Jason looked like the all-American boy next door. Very charismatic, very charming. When he wasn't on set with the kids, Jason would come out and talk with all the moms.
God, not Jason.
Want to get to know about us, what our families
Yeah,
were
look at
like.
everybody's size.
You thought, oh, I could. She would tell me, oh, I got an email from Jason. He's doing this, he's doing that. I didn't see any harm in it.
Her excited, ready to do whatever to be a part.
He shut down the computer completely and got up and ran into her bedroom and slammed the bedroom door shut.
Guilty.
And I said, Brandy, what is wrong? And she said, I got an email from Jason. It was a picture of him naked,
Damn.
masturbating.
These be some sick niggas.
They're gonna think I'm a bad parent because I allowed her to talk to this person. I struggle with this.
Worried
My
about
friend
you
told
and how you
myself,
look.
I can't call the police. All I can do is make sure I keep her far away from him.
But not stop him from exchange numbers with all the kids and parents.
They don't know what these kids went through.
Damn. So what happened with your daughter career after that? I'm curious. And like, did you tell anybody else? Did you tell other parents? Okay, you didn't go to the police. Did you tell other parents? You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious.
Some of these creepy people need to know, like, I shouldn't be around kids and just don't do it. Like, keep your nasty stuff with adults. Like, this is
She made a few
kids.
movies, What a Girl Wants and Big Fat Liar. So she
Like as an adult, there's somebody for your kink or your fetish. An adult for your kink or your fetish. Excuse me, let me clarify that.
Dan had a very specific image of how he wanted What I Like About You to go.
I remember that show.
Constantly fighting with the co
I didn't
What
watch
I
it.
Like About You.
He got pushed out from the writer's room.
But Dan is still able to remain on set with Amanda in his role as producer.
He thought that he should be the one to kind of usher Amanda into adulthood.
It's a very delicate transition to make from child star to adult person.
Amanda turns to Dan and other representatives to come up with a plan to get her emancipated and get her a new level.
I think I remember when she was going through the
Plan takes her parents completely.
There's a pretty lengthy history of.
She got the money, she got the funds for it, she got the mentors,
It lets them
and the
work
parents
a lot more
trusted
freely.
all of these
They don't have
years.
to work reduced hours. It would have made everybody a lot more money. They could have worked her even harder than they already were.
It entirely failed.
Wow. Black home.
This creates this huge split in between Amanda's parents and Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
This is really the end of Dan's relationship with Amanda. He lost his ticket out of children's programming. It's a huge blow, so now he has to turn his attention back to Nickelodeon. Over at Nickelodeon, Dan had been
Yeah,
growing
that'd
up
be
with
worse,
Become an
yeah.
Empire, reviving all that with a whole new cast.
I remember that. Oh wow! I remember this.
Made Dan's career.
I don't think I ever really watched it.
I didn't watch it like that, but I remember
It
it.
just looked like everybody was just having a good time.
The set on all that was dysfunctional. You could just
I can only imagine. He's doing this
going
again.
overtime in ways that were sort of pushing the envelope.
They would be like, hey, can you stay an extra however long? I guess, sure. And you kind of look at your mom like, we're ignoring child labor laws again. Do you know? All right. Let's.
What is going on?
I remember we did this sketch, Sugar and Coffee.
This is
Involved
kids.
me and Lisa running around. That sketch required like a ton of like physical work.
They really do that?
They had me come in dressed as an old lady that gets drowned in the sugar and coffee. I mean, you're pouring like pounds and pounds of literal sugar in your mouth, and it's hitting you like sand. And sometimes we would choke.
It was weird. The show was full of like these uncomfortable sketches.
Impressions on what the climate was like immediately. First day filming.
You want to buy some girly cookies?
You're not a girl. They set up the scene like he was selling drugs. And I was like, oh, the black kid gets to be the crack dealer?
Girl, did you take your son out there? I'm so confused. He was on
Behind
for
him was a
2
young
years.
lady
When did you start
massaging
complaining?
That was certainly pulled.
Why are we having adult jokes?
That's weird.
Are you showing the kids that Hollywood
She
is a
thick
constant
though.
house?
I'm sorry.
I was complaining too much. I became the oddball.
Lil Fetus.
I remember this.
They were fitting me for the Little Fetus role. And essentially, you're a fetus, so you naked. But that was a moment where I felt like, oh, I could go get my mom about this.
Right.
But also, I know my mom, and I know that she would have rose hell.
I saw things differently.
So they was
than
keeping
everybody
secrets
else.
and shit.
Now, ultimately, I did try to tell his agent, because she called me. She's like, Tracy, come on. Do it for Brian. Just shut up.
The person at the top sets the tone for
It's
the
such a
entire
hard,
production. If you run a show dealing over
That's why parents really make decisions for their children. That's
And
why
then
they're
you
allowed
looking to the agent for advice because you feel like they done been here, done that, and they telling you shut the fuck up. You ruining shit. I'm not gonna get a cut because you don't know how to shut your fucking mouth. And I'm thinking you giving me good advice because you've been here, done that.
But I mean, you gotta look at how this kid grew up. Something in the way he grew up is why he says every role I take, I just think about I'm further away from getting out the hood. I feel like I might have been old enough to realize how creepy this was.
Those were particularly traumatic. The whole idea was that you would have to do something scary on camera. And they
That you don't know you gotta do for real.
I didn't know.
So I had to be submerged in peanut butter. That was weird. But then the dogs come, I'm laying on the ground, and then the dogs, they gotta lick peanut butter off my body. That sounds like some kind of awkward fantasy from some freaky dude.
where they were taking something that, you know, exists in an adult context, like Fear Factor, and like transmogrifying it into kids. When you do that, it's actually like an inappropriate thing to do.
There was a scorpion there.
Oh,
The thing that was
no.
most uncomfortable is having to watch your fellow
Crazy part
classmates
is, I don't think I could do any of this when I was a kid. But maybe that's why they
essentially tortured.
Oh my
If there's
God.
anything, I think that people kind of just look at us and go, you made some money, so what are you complaining about? And yeah, we collect our money.
Yeah, but the check is done. Oh my God, this is PTSD.
The environment on set really matters when we're talking about kids because if they aren't protected, then they're vulnerable to much worse.
Dan's presence in a room can change the vibe of the room. Okay.
Kids always
Many
do
times
that.
where I had to go, okay, you're creating an atmosphere on this set.
He would not talk to me directly. He would say to his associate producer, tell her to make this certain edit, or tell her to trim this, or tell her to, you know, start over.
I can't work like that.
Dan was
Can't
an
work
old
like
child
that.
at the
So every day was constant pressure to get things done faster, faster, faster.
Yeah.
One day I keeled over and I ended up
It's
having
really
to go
because
to
you
the
work for
hospital.
Nickelodeon,
And as
because
I'm
these people
leaving
are
and
probably
curled over,
talented to how
I
good
could
the
hear
shows was. They probably might have got
say,
a gig somewhere else.
how is the
because they
show
work at
going to get
Nickelodeon.
finished? And I just remember saying,
For
oh,
Dan
he
Schneider,
was back.
really?
His mother must have heard him.
Somebody,
Because it's some woman. hurt him bad, and it's usually the mom when you acting like this with every woman, damn near.
And so, we're in New York City expecting to go back. We got a call from the agent. She was like, come down. And she told me Brian wasn't being invited back.
I was crying because I'm 13, 14, and I've built this family, and now I'm not a part of the family anymore. Like, dang, I didn't even get to say goodbye to my people.
Yeah.
The day that we were told.
Damn shit for an adult. Shit.
In that moment, he grew up, and his body language showed it. And that's a man that didn't trust his mom anymore. It ruined us. And you can't get that, like the moment you can't get back.
Getting kicked off the show definitely was the stage setter for a lot of issues that I still face today as a black man in therapy. A lot of issues that I'm currently overcoming, but I feel
I had no idea what I was saving my son from. It's a house of horrors. No kidding. House of horrors.
All you could have done was prepare him for it to end.
Suspected child predator, 28-year-old Jason Michael Handy of Sherman Oaks. Handy has connections to the TV industry and an investigation.
Phone rang and it was a woman on the other line. She announced herself as a detective from the LA Police Department. And she said, we'd like to speak with Brandy about Jason Handy. Are
You ain't even
familiar
tell.
with that name?
Jason Handy was a PA, production assistant. I remember him being a pretty nice kid.
He was around.
What the hell?
A lot. Because
Smiles a
the
little
PA,
off for me. I wouldn't
like,
fuck
it
with
was
him.
his job.
Law enforcement had been tipped off about Jason Handy's inappropriate behavior towards children. So in 2003, they searched his home. They find this enormous trove of child pornography. Over 10,000 images of children and 2 images of girls engaged in bondage activity. One of the CDs included 7 video files of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct.
She started telling me that a lot of parents did not want to be involved in the investigation, and they said we would really like to speak with Brandy.
Because they're embarrassed, bro. But you
I
not
didn't
saving
want
another child from
people to later
it,
blame
it's
on her
okay
in
to
any
make
way.
mistakes. It really is. But you're living with that.
My decision
inside
in
'cause you're
allowing
not
Brandy to
speaking up
talk
about
with the
it.
detectives was that we would find justice for her and that we would get closure.
One of the most disturbing things that law enforcement found.
Yeah, because he gotta be off the streets.
Too.
He's
Like,
like,
I don't know.
he literally works with kids. You can't just leave it open.
As a
like
parent,
that.
I don't think I could put anybody else in danger if somebody did something to my child.
I really have been giving in to my desire
Besides the
for
fact
little
that I'm
girls
probably
these past
going
few
to jail
weeks.
anyway for doing
And
something to
I
them.
even struggle on a day-to-day basis of how I can find a victim to rape if I have to.
Eventually, Brandy had to go to court and testify against him. There was another family there. Their daughter was there to testify against Jason.
Jason Handy meets another girl on a different Nickelodeon show, Cousin Skeeter. She was just a guest star on the show. They became. He kissed her twice, and on the second kiss, he tried to force his tongue inside her mouth. She backed away, feeling uncomfortable about the kisses. He told her not to tell her mother about the kisses.
Definitely tell your mother.
Also
They say don't tell ASAP. Don't wait.
You on other shows. So there was that promise
Yeah.
of
Oh my God.
he's
he
going to
was sick.
take her far in this
Go to
business.
jail.
That R. Kelly shit they was talking about.
Ultimately, Jason was sentenced to 6 years
That's
on 2 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor involving 2 girls, one of whom was Brandy.
No, he needs to get out and get kept away from power. Because he's the type who used to have power to do.
Jason was arrested in April of 2003. Just 4 months later, another member of the crew was arrested.
Wait, 2 pedophiles? What is that? What is that?
What the hell? Oh my God.
Brian Peck, aka Pickle Boy.
Pickle Boy was this like character that returned again and again and again.
Every episode.
I gotta get something to eat.
That's awkward. Like I've seen them hoes in places that's not kid friendly.
Why did he go with it?
Pickle?
I remember at the time, I think it was about like 2.5 years in, everyone went to Brian's house for a barbecue, and his house was a little off. I noticed a painting in the room that stuck out to me because it had nothing to do
That's
with
old
video
school
games.
kind of days.
It was of a birthday clown holding balloons.
John Gacy.
He flipped the thing around, and on the back it said, "To Brian, I hope you enjoy the painting. Best wishes, your friend, John Wayne Gacy."
I knew it, bro.
It was
I knew it, bro.
John
That's
Gacy.
crazy.
At this point, I'm like 14. I didn't know like the details, but I
He
knew
was
like this guy's
14.
a serial killer who like killed a lot of young men and boys.
I
My
don't know
instinct
why I
was
didn't
like
think-
everyone has to
oh
see
my
this.
God.
It was one of those like classic failures of group psychology. This man
I never thought
was
about it
like
like that.
trusted
Failure
as
of
basically a
group
supervisor of
psychology.
kids. One Monday morning, we have the table read. Dan says, would it be possible for the parents to leave the room for a moment so that our friends can talk to the kids?
And this happens just after Brian Peck is arrested on 11 charges of child sexual abuse.
What?
And these charges are related to a child actor.
What? You sure, Brian Peck?
Brian isn't going to be here anymore. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say? That was
He did
one
all
of the
that
most
stuff?
awkward silences of my life. Everyone was like looking at everyone else, basically wondering like, is someone gonna admit that like they were abused by Brian?
Thinking about it now as an adult
That's crazy.
and
that they
having the
did
parents
that.
leave the room,
To do that.
that was a little sus.
They wanted to know that bad. They were willing to do that. That's disgusting. They were like, I'll deal with the consequences from the parents later. But we need to know who said this so we can know if the show can go on or not. That's sickly.
Dan was like, all right. And then everyone got up and that was that.
That was probably company lawyers. The all that family White House transfer.
It wasn't dealing with anybody on the shows or anything, right?
It was a child actor.
On one of our shows.
Yes.
Where were you? No. Oh, shit. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. And they keep showing this after this.
They like, nah, it's true. It really happened to somebody on the show. Like, somebody y'all know, somebody I was chilling with. Like,
I was really chilling with Drake and Josh. I was chilling with them. That's crazy. And this.
this was a crazy episode. Like, it's a lot going through my head just because. Okay, so I will say, like, I didn't watch the R. Kelly documentary, right? So maybe we can watch that just because I'm really curious to know, like, what parents are thinking during this time. Like, first of all, to just leave the room, like, to just leave the room. Like, what am I leaving the room for? And then, like, when when my child comes out the room and they tell me that y'all question them about something that y'all didn't even have a conversation with me about, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Because why didn't you say something to me?
Yeah.
First of all, you're not supposed to even be questioning my child about no shit like that.
See, the
without me
leave
in
the room is probably not as different because they probably had to leave the room before, but not for nothing bad, for show stuff. They disarmed them and they took advantage of that, but that wouldn't have been able to fly for sure. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, damn. And then like to the parents who are afraid to say something, I'm just wondering, they thinking like, are they thinking they protecting a child because their child is still a minor at the time that situation happened? Or are you more so embarrassed in protecting yourself and your image?
That's
And
the
like,
truth. If you're really protecting kids, you gotta at least try. But I also get like the side of not wanting to end your kid's career essentially. 'Cause that is what can happen.
you know, to be honest, where my morals stand, I mean, what career is there to have when this is what it's looking like?
Your child's career is gonna be ended anyway.
I mean, if this is what it's starting, like, imagine where it's going to end, or imagine what it's going to take to get to the next level, and then what, and then what, and then what?
That's the truth.
Literally, that's what you gotta start thinking, like, when is it going to stop? At what point is enough going to be enough? Because I don't have a voice, so at some point, no matter what point that is, the minute I say I'm uncomfortable, no, I don't want to do it, it's going to be a problem. So just let it be a problem now.
That's been like building up to the rest of these people were inappropriate and nasty. Man, this guy right here is a rapist. Like, and this is all happening on set because of the environment that Dan Snyder built. Because he built this environment of that's nasty.
This nigga was talking to John Wayne Gacy, probably telling him about how he molested Drake. And like, I've watched a few documentaries on John Wayne Gacy, so I know the type of shit that nigga is into. That's some nasty nigga.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm not really looking forward to it, you know?
Like I said, I like to be aware of what's out there, you know what I mean? Like, we obviously...
I would love to hear Drake Bell stories.
Of course.
That's Drake Bell, right?
But this is only episode 3, so how many episodes is there?
4, I think.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully it don't get any worse than what it already has. It's been crazy, y'all. I'm definitely curious to know, like, we all know, they always say, like, it's crazy in Hollywood, and it's the devil, and it's this, that, and, like, so we're getting the inside scoop for real on what it's really like.
Yeah.
And then, like, a midst of this Diddy allegation, like, this is crazy. I choose a peaceful life above all. What do y'all choose? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you go ahead and like this video if you do. Keep the adults, first of all, let me say that too, right? Because keep the adults who's like actually participate. Imagine the people who didn't participate in this because they're not comfortable sharing.
Yeah, it's probably a lot.
So keep these people in your thoughts and your prayers, because there are things that they have dealt with over the years that we have no clue about. And now that this documentary is out, they are going to keep dealing with things for years to come. Now that every time somebody looks at them, every time somebody looks at Drake, now they are aware that he was sexually abused. You know what I mean? It's like having that on you. And so just show these people grace. And although we all have opinions and we're saying like, what we would do or what we could have done, we really don't know. We could only say because we're not in their shoes. Like, I don't know what it's like to think that my fucking son is gonna change my entire life, and you know, the pressure of fucking it up. Like, I don't even want to piss my son off, you know, on a regular day.
Her and her son's relationship was never the same.
And that's what brought the tear to her eye. I hope you know that. That's crazy. Like, out of everything she was saying, the fact that her relationship.
Wondering if she should have made a different decision. But the thing is, she made the right decision.
That's what I mean. So please, y'all, no matter what opinions we have, just show these people grace and remember that they're human and that they've been going through things that we don't know about for years. And they are going to continue to go through things now that everybody knows about it. So Thank y'all again for watching this video. We truly appreciate y'all. Go ahead and like this video if you do.
Subscribe.
We appreciate you. Roll to 10K, can't do without you. Wise Guy Gang, stay tuned for episode 3. Bye.